Hiya, whoever's there, thanks for joining me. You remember we're doing this ring-bound journal for a change and also possibly for a giveaway. And I'll just show you what I've done since you were last with me. Remember, I completed this. This is one page, one side of one page, should I say. And that's that, and that's it inside. Pretty, yeah, very pretty. And then on the other side of the page, we'd started doing this fold out thing that seems never ending, to be honest. And yesterday we were doing this page. Now that's going to go on there, but it's going to have a whole piece of paper behind it, right up to the border there. So, it's not going to look like this, which is untidy. So it's got I've just put these cards in just to say there's cards in them. They're not necessarily the ones that are going to stay in forever. They're just a placeholder, if you like. So that will have a nice big card in there because it goes right down to the bottom. And then there's this little corner tuck here, which will have a little card in there. And what I did here last night after you left me was put this little floral arrangement, which I use my hot glue gun for, and just titchy little flowers. I snipped the backs off and glued them down, and that it'll miss this, so we're all right. I'm pretty sure we're all right. I carefully cut them off so as they weren't catching the next page, because I was thinking ahead. And then this morning I have been busy and I've made this page, which opens like that, and you flip it open, and it's got this lovely pocket here with this ribbon edging on it, and some writing paper that we made a little while ago. Some of you may not have seen me make that. I might make some more. Well, I will undoubtedly make some more at some stage, but it's nice. It's really, really pink. It's cheery, and it goes with the journal, and it is exactly what's needed there, where we needed something big and not too bulky. Hi Desiree, hi Flo, hi Deborah. Oh, hi Hilda, it's nice to have you all with me. Thanks for joining me. Yesterday was like a summer's day here, and today it's like winter again. So we've got the fire on, and blimey, it's just ridiculous. So that just tucks back there, and that tucks into there to keep it closed. And I quite like that. It's quite plain, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it looks okay. And then next along, I've done this I've echoed the angles of the overall book and made pockets. These are pockets. They don't flip out or anything. They're just pockets. And of course, in the fullness of time, I mean, that's a lovely card, isn't it? Some of these I'm pretty sure are from My Porch Prints. So I've just, literally put cards in just so as you can see what they look like with cards in. I can't imagine these are the ones that are going to stay there, but you never know, they might. Right, so that's where we're up to. So on this side, we've still got this one and this one to decorate. And then on the other side, we've got this one, this one, this one. Oops, hello. And this one. So we're not short of things to decorate at the moment. In fact, you could say we might have rather too many. But anyway, I'll keep plugging on, and, you join me when you can. Cute closure. Do you like that? Do you like that closure? I like that. Sort of invented it myself, I think. I'm sure somebody else has done it. I just haven't seen it. And I put Hot Fix crystals on there, so they're really quite blingy. Yeah. Right. Okay. So before we get back to doing this, and let me tell you, today on this thing, I am attempting to do something I've never ever done before. I feel like I'm going to announce that I'm walking across Niagara Falls or something. No, nothing like that. Nothing as dramatic. But it is something I've never done before. You know, let's hope it works. If it doesn't, hey, you know not to do it yourselves. We've got no Regina at the moment. Tut tut, she's late. You had snow, Deborah? Did you really? Where are you? Oh, is it Mother's Day? Is it Mother's Day in England? Is it Mother's Day in England, Mr. Fix-It?
Don't know. You'd have to ask me mother.
God. No, we're not doing that first. Wherever here. Right, this is what someone asked me yesterday. How you do? How do you do the fancy Niagara Falls, saving up the airfare and rope? Yeah, do it, Deborah. Debbie, sorry. I'm loving doing ringbound journals. You can be so much freer, I think, with your things. Anyway, yesterday somebody asked me how to do the little decorated safety pin paper clips that I showed you in the Edith Holden flip through. And someone else asked, how do you do notebooks? So let's address that, because first and foremost, I would like to, you know, include everybody, let everybody know what we all know, and then they can use that in their journals. Right, with regards to the notebook, I'm using, for this purpose, coffee-stained paper. It's coffee-stained copy paper. That's a bit tricky to say. You could use anything. You could use music sheets. You could use ordinary copy paper without it being stained at all. Anything, any sort of paper. And I always cut mine off square. You don't have to do that. I've seen people, particularly Pam at the Paper Outpost, who is a hoot. You need to subscribe to Pam. She's lovely.
22nd of March.
Our Mother's Day?
Yeah.
All right, okay. It must be in America then.
Oh dear, I missed it again.
Oh, goodness gracious me. I can't even remember. It's knocked me clean off my stot, as we would say up here. Yeah, you can use little torn bits of paper as well. And some people use them as sort of rip-offs, you know, they write on one, finish with it, rip it off and start again sort of thing. So anyway, I am going to make my little thing, what do you call it, notebook. I'm going to make it 4 inches, because it doesn't matter, it's not kind of going anywhere or doing anything, it's just an example. Come on, don't be one of those days, please. And what does this measure across? It measures, oh, that's all right then. So I'll do 4 times 4. So it's going to be square little notebook. It's just a bit of rubbish. This should theoretically measure 4. Well, it's just a little bit over. I would say don't get hung up on your notebooks, you know, if they're slightly different size pages. Personally, I think it adds to it. So there we are. We've got, I think there's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 there, but I'm going to cut them in half. This piece is way too long, but no, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to measure down 4 inches, and that should leave me 4 down here. Right, so there we are. We've now got an 8-page notebook. This piece is going to get on my wick, so we've got a 7-page notebook, because that's just going to annoy me. Now, what I do is I use the sewing machine, and you can either just sew straight across, you can put ribbon over it and then sew across. I'm going to sew straight across first so you can see. Now it's not the thickest of things that I've ever sewn on my sewing machine, don't get me wrong. You know, if you're sewing side seams on jeans or something, or waistbands, they can be very thick. And we're not in that territory here. However, it's not as thin cotton. So I elongate my stitch a little bit to compensate for the fact that it's thick. Give the machine a chance. I'm all serious today, aren't I? Sorry, I didn't have the machine on. So I'm just going to elongate that stitch a little bit, and I'm just going to run the machine along the top. I'm going to start a little way in and reverse back. Obviously you can't reverse front. And then straight across the top. And reverse a little way. And they have a notebook, you know, it's really not complicated. If you wanted it to fit in with your colour scheme, add a bit of card or paper that matches to the front, on the front of it, so that it could be a nice, but you see what I mean about you can tear these off, because it's quite a long stitch and whatever, you can just rip them off, and there you are. You've still got a perfectly good notebook, and you've ripped off this page that you've put secret messages on you don't want anybody else to see. I don't think so. But you could similarly get some ribbon. I've got so much ribbon here. Could you pass me that pink, broadish pink ribbon, please? It's on a roll, so you might have to get the roll or scissors. Lovely, thank you. So seeing as we're mixing it with pink at the moment, you could do this. You could just fold that over on the top and sew down there, which I shall show you now in a minute. Because we've already got one row of stitches there, I'd like to cover them. I don't want it to look skanky. I don't know if you have that word in America. Skanky means a bit rubbish, sort of thing. So I'm just putting a little bit of blue glue on it, just to help me when I sew, because otherwise it'll want to move on me.
I'm sure I've heard them say skank on Law and Order.
Skank. Yeah, but are they not like skanky women sort of thing? I mean, we can use skank not in relation to women, just something that's a bit rough, yeah, rough. So that's just held that on there for me. I'll just cut that off there. And for the purposes of this, please ignore that line of stitching, because it was just for example. And then you can sew your ribbon on. Same procedure. I'll sew it down to the bottom there. What I would say to you is try not to sew just after you've used glue, because your sewing machine doesn't like it. I know I'm doing it, and I think we all do it from time to time, but it's not good practice. So if your ribbon isn't thick enough, wide enough, broad enough, and you haven't caught it with that line of stitching, you'll have to glue that down. Using broader ribbon is a good idea, because you will get it down. You'll have enough to catch it on the back as well. I mean, I could put another row of stitching in there and I'd catch that, which I shall just do for the sake of completeness. Good heavens, the sake of completeness. So I'm folding that over and I'm holding it quite firmly in my hand, because there's no glue on that bit. Keep making sure it's in the right place. So there we are, we've caught the ribbon in the back. Just take these ends off. You'll see what we've done. I don't know how, well, I'm saying I don't know how you'd do this if you didn't have, I don't actually know how you'd do this if you didn't sew it. There's got to be a way, because not everybody sews this stuff. And I'll just tidy those ends up. And there we have it, nice little notebook, ready to go in your journal or ready to use, ready to shove in your handbag. It's a really good way of, and save your snippets. That will all become clear in a moment while we're saving those. Right, so I hope that, I can't remember who asked the question. Yeah, avocado, does it turn out nice and pink? There we are. So that's the front with the two loads of stitching, and that's the back. I mean, this row here was from our very first stitching where I was just literally showing you, but there is another row now in that ribbon there holding it in place. So you've got a nice little notebook. What I very often do if I've used this sort of paper is get a stamp, you know, a little butterfly or a flower or whatever, and I go through every page and stamp it, but that's just me. The other thing you can do is ink around the edges, you know, make it look a bit more distressed. So yeah, there we are, notebook, job done. Next thing to show you was coffee, stay in a single sheet. Yeah, then photocopy it, yeah. Robert's your relative, as they say. Indeed, Mr. Fix-It says that a lot. The only reason that I don't like doing that on the printer is because I'm mean. And it uses up loads of ink that I could just use coffee on it. And I like the smell anyway, so, you know, whatever. Brilliant, Mr. Fix-It. I used a stipple brush and just, yeah, fine. Right, let's move on to this snippet clip. Snippet clip indeed. I was looking around for a bit of card that I can use. You can use card, thick paper. I would use this if I could pick it up. Oh yeah, I can.
Did you want a book from yesterday to show them in action?
Yeah. Well, no, I'll make this and I'll show them. So what you need to do is cut out, here's my safety pin. I'm really sorry, I'm going to call it that all the time. It's going to annoy me and you. Paper clip. And you want to cut a piece of card that is thicker than your paper clip. Sorry?
Wider.
Wider, yeah. So there's my paper clip, there's my line. And it's a kind of arbitrary amount. It's not for definite, you know. But you do need it thicker, wider than your paper clip. So there we are. I need 2 pieces to make 1 paper clip. And I want it slightly longer than my paper clip, so about there. And I need 2 pieces the same. So just snip that off there. Right. Okay, so on this piece, it doesn't matter which side's right and wrong, you know, don't worry about it. And here is my snippet box. Now in here are all the bits of stuff that I've been using that are too short to keep for anything else. You know, I'm never going to use that in a journal because it's too short. So I'll leave that out for my, seeing as we're doing pink, I'll do a pinky one. There's a piece of sari silk in here. Nice long piece, excellent. So I'll just cut a couple of snippets off that. This is the bit of ribbon that I think we were just using. I'll just cut that raw edge off it. What else have we got? We've got, I won't mind some white, if I could find some white. Oh, this is white, that's nice. So I'm just randomly selecting out of my snippet box what I've got. And I mean, you know, at this stage we're only making 1 paper clip, so don't get carried away too far. But once you've learned how to do them, you'll be away. You'll want to be doing them all the time. Right, let's give that maybe some more white. Maybe a little bit more white. Got any more white? Blimey, that's a little bit. So what you need to have on the go at all times and right by your elbow is a snippet box. So anything that you cut off that you would have chucked in the bin, it goes in your snippet box for times like this. I mean, look at that.
Apparently.
What?
And a reel of cotton, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know what that's doing in there. It's just, it just lives there. It's happy in there. It's happy with its friends. There's another little bit of white there. Right, we've definitely got enough now, so I'm going to take these over to the sewing machine. I've had some off that, so I can put that away. And take one of my pieces of card. Can you see down there? No, you can't. Well, I've just got my, just to the left of the sewing machine, I've got my pile of snippets. And I'm just going to spread out a little bit so I can see what I've got.
Let's see what I can do.
Mr. Fix-It's moving me around. Not me, literally. He'd have a job. I haven't got very much pink there, but never mind. Right, so I'm going to start with this top bit, this thick pink bit. And I'm just going to put it and the card, line up the tops together. But not fastidiously. Sew for a little bit, leave your needle down if you have that facility, but lift your foot up, the sewing machine foot, before you all say it, the sewing machine foot. Then you put a little bit of white in there, sew down a little way. I have a setting on this machine that leaves the needle in, but I can't remember where it is, so it's not doing me any good, is it? So another little bit of snippet in there, and I'm overlapping these snippets. They're all being overlapped, but I'll show you in a sec what I'm talking about. So that's it, we're down at the bottom now, and I'm just going to go in reverse and go all the way back up through that just to make sure I have caught all the snippets. Okay. Right, so I'll cut my ends off. Right, so this is what we're left with here. This. Now that's just a bit too wayward. Where are we? Where are you? There you are. Oh, there you are. So it's just snippets laid down on cardboard and sewn over, and that's what the back looks like. Okay. So you can use, I mean there I think we've only used sort of 4 little bits of snippet. You could use loads more if you cut them up finer, obviously. It takes a bit longer, but, you know. So then what we do is we take the other piece of card that we had and put the shorter of the 2 legs over the card, like so. And then we're going to glue that to that. So I'm going to use the 3-in-1 because I want it, you know, it's quite... Yeah. And then you just stick that side with the short leg down onto the reverse side of your snippety bit. Stick it down good. And then, as you can see, you've got a paper clip to use, like over something. I'll just get a piece of paper. Oh, I know. Here we are. Here's our notebook. So say you'd used 5 pages and you wanted to mark it. You just go like that over it, push your paper clip on. There you go. Robert really is your relative. Who knew? My paper clips that I'm using are actually really small. I couldn't find any larger ones when I was running around with 10 minutes to go. So these won't really hold really thick things, but you can get massive paper clips. I think Tim Holtz does ones that are sort of 3 inches long. So, you can get them, you can do a serious snippet. But that's it. I think now it's probably dry. I can show you that it does actually go over there, which was a fair few sheets of paper. And it's just pretty. And I mean, if you take it into your head that you want to pretty it even more, stick some bling on it. What have I got to hand? I've got these little pearls here that you could stick down there. They would look very pretty. Whatever, the world's your oyster once you know how to make these. So there you go. Does that, if you're on, whoever asked me, does that answer your question? You've been trashing, never trash anything. It always comes in handy. It's just storing it, isn't it? All these things that you don't want to trash. I've got boxes of stuff like that. Right, so we'll leave that then for the time being. I hope that you understood that. If you didn't understand it, can you just say so, and I'll endeavour to do it again more sensibly, perhaps. So there's our little notebook. There's our cute paper clip, and success with regards to that. Right, this is where it might all go horribly wrong. As I say, I'm doing something I've never done before. This is the back page, so this doesn't count. So the next big page that I've got on the back is this one. So what I want to do is build a fairy house with a fairy in it. And I don't really know if it's going to work. What brought it to my mind was I found this pad of paper, and I have not a clue where I bought it. It says from the Netherlands. I certainly didn't buy paper in the Netherlands, but the pattern goes that way on it, and that's not right for a house. It needs to be built out of planks like that. So what I am proposing to do is cut myself out a template of this on ordinary copy paper, and then make a patchwork of these slats so I can cover this whole piece. That's my first job. So could you pass me a piece of copy paper, please? I'm going to need 2 for sure. Thank you very much. So I need my template. So I'll draw my template out. Get that level along the bottom and level up the edge. And that'll be a good start. Still allowing room for the sellotape hinge. So that's where I want to be, right there and right there. And at the bottom it's there. So let's chop that off. This is eager anticipation, isn't it? Huh? Oh dear me, I have no idea if it'll work. I don't even know what brought it into my mind, to be honest with you. So let's cut that square off there. I'll tell you, if it works, it's going to be fabulous. If it doesn't, well, I just made a fool of myself again, but it's not the first time. Hiya Shaz, thanks for joining. Hope you're not feeling too poorly.
Zero says it looks like Z-Man or Zebra paper.
Let me see.
I think it might come from Lidl or somewhere like that.
Direct Sales BV, the Netherlands, www.dsbv.eu. And it really doesn't say anything else apart from that, I'm afraid. Oh, hang on, deco time. There we go, deco time. I don't know, we are thinking that we possibly bought it from Aldi or Lidl, one of the cheap supermarkets that from time to time do craft things in the middle of the store. Right, let's just make sure that that's what I want before we start filling it up. Yeah, I'd say that's perfect. I'd say it's perfect. So I need to start building myself some. Actually, I'll do this on the cutter because otherwise it may take some time. I don't mean on the cutter, I mean with my rotary cutter. So I'll cut one sheet out first. And see if the plan actually looks like it's going to work or not. Oh, I just thought I need these all to be the same size, don't I? So I need to cut them all at 1/2 inch then. Oh, come on. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. Even if the lines, the black lines, aren't, I'll keep that to the side because I'm not sure that I've measured that first one at 1/2 inch. Why has this been so slidey today? No idea. Where are we?
In that one, it's a non-slidey. It's got things on
thanks.
the back. It's any less slidey, of course.
Well, it's easier to see actually, to be honest, so thanks very much for that. Right, I'm going to cut another 2 and then we'll see if we can... Actually, I think I've started to go on the wonk here.
Well, I think the lines on the paper are on the line.
So I just need to cut that off a little bit because it's... Oh, pities. So I'm just going to make sure that I've cut that at 1/2 inch because otherwise my plan really will not work. Right, so the idea is, here's my bit of paper. The idea is that I start off with like sticking one piece on there and then I've got a gap at the top. So I just cut a little bit for that gap. Oh, really? One of your springers? Is she all right? Is she well all right? Have you, how many have you got? So that bit'll go there. Then this next bit can go there. Do you get the drift? Do you see what I'm aiming to do? I'm aiming to build a house. Yeah, I think it's going to work actually. So what I need to do is, as I cut them, I need to stick them. Otherwise, I probably also need to make a straight line up the middle of here so I don't go totally on the wonk. Because I think it might be easy to do that.
You're sticking them onto there before you stick them into the book.
I'm sticking them onto here, yeah, and then I'm sticking that on the book.
Pink bit of paper so that the gaps won't show.
Have we got pink paper? I don't know.
I can print some pink paper.
No, I'm sure there might be some upstairs actually.
We've got some in that.
The pastel pack?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, please. Just they won't show then.
Yeah, Mr. Fix-It has ever come up with the idea of using pink paper, which is genius. The man's just a genius, what can you say? But if I don't have them all the same width, you see, then I'm going to fall into trouble because I can't make a good patchwork. You getting the drift, people? 5 huge healthy pups. No sleep for 48 hours. Oh, look at that. I got so excited about the pups. I've got a pot. Oh well, never mind. Five huge healthy pups apparently have been delivered.
Excellent.
Oh, thanks. Just have a piece of this card. This is just thin copy paper. I'll just draw around my, thanks very much for that. Draw around my shape so as I can get it right into the corner. I don't want it just to be creeping bigger every time. See, I should have thought of that before I came on, but I didn't, so I didn't. What's going on here? What's that? All right, yeah. Couldn't see what I was doing there for a minute. So let's get that square along the bottom, get that to there. Chop that off. Spare for something else. Get the angle in. Can't tell you what angle this is, I'm afraid, because if you remember, we just did it fairly arbitrarily yesterday. But you've all gone now, but you've all gone to make blooming paper clips. Oh, America, South Africa and Europe celebrate Mother's Day today. Uh-huh. Thanks for that. We're awful at knowing what's going on in the world. We had a bank holiday here on Friday, which really threw us for a loop because we don't normally have bank holidays on Fridays. We have them on Mondays. And what with the lockdown and everything else, man, I don't know whether I'm coming or going. Right, so let's get sticking. Otherwise, we're not going to get to the pretty bit. And I'm determined to. So I've been planning that. Woke up this morning with this idea in my head. Oh, I haven't put my straight line in the middle, but I can do it. I can do it anytime. So right up the edge there. The top corner's refusing to glue for some reason. And I had a little bit, didn't I? Yeah, this little bit here. Just going to go there. And there will be some sort of, you know, little gaps between them and whatever, where you haven't got it exactly straight. But, you know, I wouldn't worry about those particularly. And on to the next one, but we'll start the next one at the top, which then means we're going to get a break down here. So we just need to be just above the angle, come down, maybe even leave, you know, a hint of a gap, as you would if it was a proper house. Not a house made of pink paper. Not that one, because it's the same. I want something different. So I'm just going to chop that off there. Maybe I should have half started this before I decided to do a live, because I hope it's not boring you. But you like the fancy bit at the end, I'm sure. So there we are. I've left a bit of a gap because I actually like the look of that. It's nice. So then another piece, which I can start off square at the bottom, and it's going to end there where the other piece did, obviously. If you want to change it, don't start it at the bottom. But I quite like that idea. they've released the latest Star Wars film on Sky Cinema over here. And I've never seen it, well, until like this last week, I'd never seen a Sky Wars film in my life. But Mr. Fix-It was semi-excited about the fact that it was coming on the telly. So I'm going to start this one up here, so I'll get a different place where it ends. But then he decided that actually before he watched the new one, he was going to watch all of them. And I think there's 11 in total, including some associated films. And I was crafting away, but, you know, he had the telly on and I could hear it. And I must say, really, I must say, guys, I'm enjoying it. It's the last thing I ever thought I'd say. But it's really... If you do away with all the stupid chases and stuff, lightsaber battles and that sort of crap, it's really quite nice. I do take on board that's probably why everybody watches it, for those things that I just said aren't good. So can you see our house coming together? It's looking good, I think. Looking not bad. I'm going to have to put a line down the middle so I don't really go wonkety wonk, because I get the feeling it could be quite easy to do that. Smooth that out of the way. So I'm going to do it at 2.5 inches and draw my line down, just so I've got a guide when I get to the middle to know whether I'm right or wrong and take action accordingly. Right, then this can come up here. And I'm just using glue stick for this because it's, I mean, it is card, but it's basically just paper to paper. I'm just going to bring this down a little bit because I just don't want them all at that exact same bit. I've got enough there. I just have to square that off a bit, I think. That wasn't very square, but doesn't matter. Yeah, that'll fit there. Mr. Fix-It had the idea of photocopying this paper and printing it out the right way round for me, so I wouldn't have to do any of this. And I was horrified. No, I really want to do it. So can you see the fact that it's going to be a fairy house? Can you see that? Maybe not yet. So I made a mess of this last one because I got excited about Shaz's puppies. So I'm just going to, well, I'm going to cut that off there actually, where that line is. And that's waist. Right, so off we go again with our 1/2 inch strips. And you see, it would be nice if we got those black bits right on the edge, but it's not do or die. They'll land where they land, you know, those black lines in it. You just got to keep making sure that you are actually cutting straight. It's quite easy to go on the wonk here. Just going to square this paper up. Actually, it's not too bad. If you're good at cutting, you don't need to do things like that. Well, apparently tonight our Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, is going to give us all some words of wisdom and let us know the latest in the sort of lockdown situation. Because at the moment we are locked down. We are really, really locked down. You're not allowed to go out for hardly anything. So everyone is expecting a slight sort of easement of these laws, actually, as they are. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen tonight. think we're all excited really at the prospect of being able to just go for a drive in the car. Would be nice. So I'm going to come down from the top with that one. Won't take too long, guys. And then we move to the pretty stuff. So I'm coming down from the top.
Flu's got to come in for you.
Okay. Actually, Flo, my whole life's a bit like that, if I'm honest with you. It's a bit like wing it, yeah. It's done me quite well throughout my life, really, pretty much. And it makes for an exciting way forward, doesn't it? Have I seen any of your work, Flo? Do you post your work? Because if you don't, or if you don't mind posting it, you can post it on my Facebook group, Miss Paintalot's art group. And we're just beginning now to get some really, really nice posts for junk journaling in there. So if you've got anything you'd like to show us, I'd sure like to see it. That glue page is getting a bit gluey. I'll have to turn over. Right, so we're not bad for being square, I don't think. I think we're being all right, considering what I'm normally like. Must be because you're watching. Right, so where do I want to start this? From the bottom, probably. So purposefully trying to leave just a little gap. A bit too much of a gap there, but it doesn't matter because it's going to get decorated after. Oh, my neck. I've been journaling since about 6 o'clock this morning. I did take some time out to have scrambled eggs on toast, which Mr. Fix-It made me. Otherwise, I'd never have got round to it. We're past halfway, guys. It's plain sailing from now on. We've proved this bit of the theory works anyway. And furthermore, that it does look like a bit like a fairy house would look. Slide that down.
Debbie says she's got a large wooden plank stamp.
Oh, have you? Well, then you wouldn't need to do this. It's just for poor people like me who haven't got plank stamps. I could see that would be really useful. A very useful stamp. Stamps are expensive, aren't they? Sometimes I just go to eBay, put stamps in and see lowest price first. And sometimes you're lucky, you know, sometimes people are selling really good stamps for not much money. But that's about the only stamps I buy. I just can't bring myself to pay those really high rates for them. Tim Holtz ones, I know they're lovely, but blimey, they're dear, aren't they? I heard somewhere that Tim Holtz is leaving Ideology or Ranger or whatever you call them. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not, I don't know. Certainly his stuff is a byword for class. It's really nice stuff, I think. Right, I'm going to have to cut some more.
So she's working on some quilting projects.
Oh, are you? Oh, lovely. Yeah, quilting's nice. Do you free motion your quilts, Flo, after you've quilted them? You know, after you've made the patchwork, is what I mean to say. When you're doing the actual quilting. Did you see that picture that I put up on, I think I just put it on my page, my own page, which you're all welcome to friend me should you wish to do so, of a quilt. I made a black, white and red one. It was a monster. We don't use it. I can't bring myself to sell it, so it's just sitting there taking up space. Get another 1/2 inch one out of that. So when you finish quilting, then you're going to hit paper crafting again. Hit it hard. Let's see how far these 3 take us. I think I'm going to have to break into my new piece of paper. So that just needs to be cut there. It was really, really cold this morning. Mr. Fix has put the fire on. I can tell you it is anything but cold now. It's so hot I might melt before your very eyes, to be honest with you. That wouldn't be very nice, would it? Great big pool of lard. Yeah. You've got a quilting stamp as well, Flo. Is it just, Robert, is it just me, is it, that's missed out on this? I need a plank stamp. Yeah, put that down there. I'm getting near the end. I hope I can remember what I had in mind for this. Yeah, of course I can. Vaguely. So I'm going to start from the top, slide it down to where it needs to be. I have to cut this one up. There we go, and start that one from the bottom. So pleased about your pup, Shaz, really I am. So there we are, and I've just got enough left with this one, and that is, apart from that, that's 1 page. Who'd have thought that? I wouldn't have thought that. Right, so we've built our fairy kind of a house. She's got a bit of a house to live in now. Yeah, it depends on the day. You need to be in the mood to free motion, but I do love it. It's really addictive. So let's cut off all the bits that we don't need, following our template. There's just a smidge, smidge down here. Just to sort of square it up a bit, really, I think. And along the bottom. And a titchiest bit up here. But we didn't really have any room to play with, so I've got to make sure that I get it to the size of this template. Right, let's get rid of all this rubbish. Because you know how much I like a tidy table. No. Right, so do you fit in there? Oh, well, golly gee, I think it does. I think it might just be marginally too wide, because you've got to leave room for those sellotape hinges. So if I put that there, that's still going to work. But this isn't, it's catching it. So I'm just going to take a whisker off down this side here. By a whisker, I mean about 1/8. So it's a fair sized sort of whisker, really. This time last week we were being treated to Mr. Fix-It, do you remember? With his making his lap book. Let's just check. I'm pretty sure we're all right there, but I'm just going to check. Where's my page gone? Oh, that is my page. Which page am I doing? Help me! So it's not that one, it must be this one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that's okay. When it's done and stuck down, I can have a look on the other side and make sure that that's square, because I think I might be overhanging just a tad, but we're all right. I need to move on to part 2. Part 2 involves the fairy. She's quite sort of shiny. I don't know. It's not catching it very well. Yeah, there you go. Quite sort of iridescent. And I want her to be inside a house. So I need to have a look and see what she measures, and then cut and place an acetate window. I'm sure if I'd done this once before, I could make this more interactive, make things to do with it. But bear in mind, this is just like a start. I've never done this before, so bear with. Right, so if I cut her there, because she doesn't need to be that big, really. Cut her there, and I'll cut her. If you like what you see and you think you know somebody else who would like it, please can you share it, and definitely please can you subscribe, please. When we get to 500 subscribers on my channel, we're doing a fantastic giveaway, and I'm pretty sure, although not certain, but I'm pretty sure that you will like what the giveaway is, and it'll be dead easy to enter. It's not going to be wrong page, right page. It's not going to be complicated or anything like that. So she's going to go in there. She's quite large actually, now I see her like that, but never mind. I don't need that bit at the top, so I'll cut that off. Probably don't need that at the sides. I'm wondering if I need all this stuff at the bottom, because I'm going to be covering up most of me. I'll square her off at that. Well, it depends on what size she is, really, doesn't it? I've got a square edge in my life now. They're all blinking. Right, so she is going to be 4 inches. No, she's not. She's going to be 3 3/4. 3 3/4. Good straight edge. Right, that's the bottom, so that's a straight edge, and I just need to straighten up this that I chopped with scissors and made a hash of. So I'm just straightening her up, that's all I'm doing.
Print the window pane on the acetate. So when you
maybe the next time we do it. I'm just plodding on here. Right, so she is going to be behind there with an acetate thing. And I want her fairly central. So once again, because of the use of my template, I can mark it and do whatever I like with it. I don't really want to do it on the edges of the planks if I can help it. But actually, centrally, she is right on the edge of planks. So I'm just going to move her across a little bit.
Debbie's going.
Oh, Debbie, goodbye. Thank you. You too. Right, so I'm just going to draw around that, and that's going to be my window. It's getting tense, guys. Right, so I need to cut that out with a scalpel and a ruler. I hope I'm doing this right, because it would be incredibly anticlimactic if it doesn't work. Yeah, just need to cut the double-sided. Right, so let's chop this out. It's very off-putting, the angle on the top of these pages. It makes you think that straight isn't straight. So I've got a fair bit to get through here, so it's probably going to need a couple of goes. With that. Excellent. Just going to put a mark down there so I can see. Because once I've got my ruler on it, I can't see where it starts and stops. Nearly. So close, but no cigar. I don't know what's there that's so awkward. Okay, finally, we've made it. I can hear the glue on this actually. Yeah, there we are, just one more to go. So the thing is, you can actually keep the door if you want to, and hinge it with, you know, sellotape or paper or whatever over the fairy, which I thought of doing, but I just thought it would be too much for a live because I'd probably get it wrong. Right, so there's our thing. You see what I mean? There's the door, so you could easily hinge that so as you could see what's behind it. I might do that. I don't know what's going on anymore. Acetate. Where is it? Here it is. So I need something to mark my acetate, like a Sharpie pen, or which I don't seem to have. Excuse me, if you've got a Sharpie pen, please. So that's going down there, that's coming up there, get that white edge cut off it, cut it there, there and there. Cut the white edge off it. They put the white edge on because it's printable and it helps your printer grab hold of a sheet of acetate. Mr. Fix-It came out with a brilliant idea there, but I don't really think I've got time of printing a window on the acetate, which would look fantastic, of course. So that's going to fit, is it? Yeah, that's going to be lovely. Right, a bit of double-sided. I'm trying to move up a gear here, guys, because time's getting on. It might not work. Moving up a gear, I mean. So I'm also going to put some glue on because acetate is really difficult to make it stick. I mean, the double-sided does a great job, but if I just add a bit of glue as well, then I'm happier that it's going to stay there. Burnish those down. Pick the paper off. So the next time I'm live will be Wednesday at 2 o'clock. It'd be great to see you there if you want to. See how this finally turns out, because I'm thinking I'm probably not going to get it finished today, but you never know. And see what we're up to, because I really need to get a wriggle on with this, because it's a giveaway for when we get to 500. And we're at 480 now. We're gaining quite a lot of subscribers these days, which is lovely and really kind of you. Thank you very much. Right, so let's get this on. I always put the smooth side facing out. So make sure that you've got enough all around. There we are. Press your glue away from the acetate. Otherwise you'll get gluey streaks in your acetate, which you don't want. So, right, okay, let's have a look. Fantastic. Right, so where's our little fairy gone now? Where are you? I know you're here somewhere. Oh, come on. Come on, fairy, is that you? Yeah, here she is. Oh, I've cut that out the exact wrong size now. I've cut it out the exact size of her. Whereas actually, I need her to be a little bit bigger. What a blessing that I think I have more than one fairy. This has been a lovely paper pad, Enchanted Meadow by Paper Mania. It's very glittery and lovely, and I love it. And I'm not unduly worried. I don't feel like I've wrecked something because I know that she'll come in for something else. She's pretty as well, isn't she? Let's be closer to the back. Would you believe that? Maybe I haven't got another fairy. Oh, I can't see another one like her. That's not the end of the world. I've got her and her. I quite like her. Is she going to work in our frame? I wonder. Yeah, she would work. And this one, she might be a bit wide. Yeah, no, I'm going for this one. I like this one. So here's my existing fairy, which needs to be 1/2 inch bigger all over. So I'll leave that for the ground there. And just cut a 1/2 inch bigger all over. This wasn't the plan. I told you things would go wrong. Things will definitely go wrong today. Because I hadn't done it through, not even through in my head really, to be honest. half an inch, half an inch, half an inch, half an inch up there. Quite determined now to do something with that fairy door. It seems like it's begging me to use it, actually. So before I stick it down, I'm going to give that a good thinking about. You're going to have a jolly good thinking about. So we might have come out even with a nicer one here. It's possible. Right, okay. This is what we've got. So there's our fairy. Yeah, she looks lovely. I really like her. Right, I'm going to stick her down, but bearing in mind that a bit of acetate there as well, it needs chippity chop. So I'm just going to use the same thing, double-sided and tacky glue, for the same reason. It's getting stuck onto acetate, and yeah, on the right side. You could make this, if you wanted, into a journaling card, so you could pull her out. I mean, there's no end of what you can do to this to change it. Definitely no end. This is kind of just my first musings and meanderings. I get the feeling that she might appear again somewhere down the line, but in a more refined state, I feel, not this. Which is kind of guesswork. Okay, right. Let's burnish them, glue it up, get her stuck in. What are you doing, Mr. Fix-It? You've gone quiet. Ah, he's made a fairy window, look. He's...
Need to put on white really.
That's lovely. You see, it's these sort of things that I'm talking about in the future. Once I've got my head around kind of what's happening here. What I should have done really is this morning, I should have done a dummy run. But I thought, no, it'll be fine. And pretty much it's fine. All right, we had a bit of a mistake with the fairy size, but that's not the end of the world. We've changed it. I think the glue's getting a bit low. I need 2 hands now to squeeze it out of here. Right. So, come on then, girlie. She needs to go down to the bottom and then halfway across that thing. So I'm just going to put her there. Stop it, stop misbehaving. Put her there and let's have a look and see. Yeah, sorry, I can't show you. I can't show you yet. I'll show you in a minute. Because I can't show you just quite yet. Because I've got wet glue. There you go. Look. Seems the right waste to have put all those planks on and not use that door. That's what I would say.
Make them shuttered windows.
Yeah, I could make shuttered windows. I did get as far as seeking out 2 brads for this. So maybe I was thinking that all along. Yeah, you love the fairy window that Mr. Fix-It did. Yeah.
Obviously it's the wrong size, but you know.
Yeah, it would be nice. Next time I do it, I need something like that.
Just turn the lights off, you might see it better. It's glary.
I'll hold her up for you and you'll get the idea. There, she's in a window, look. However, she's in our window now. So what I was going to do, having done all that, this door situation is ongoing, okay? I'm pretty certain I'll do something regarding that. But in the meantime, I want to decorate her a little bit. So, I'm not sure if she needs a little bit of rickrack. Who can? Hilda, oh. Yeah, sorry. A little bit of rickrack over there. Just like a sort of lentil or whatever you call them. Lintel. Not lentils, they're a different thing. You eat them. Or maybe down the bottom. Or I have got pink rickrack somewhere. Is that it? Was that it there on that bit of cardboard? Or is that really thick stuff? Oh yeah, no, this is it. Right, so I've got some pink here. But I don't know if it'll stand out enough. No, I quite like the gold, to be honest. I've got green, look. Oh, for heaven's sake. No, I'm going to use this because it looks more sort of woodified. And I've also got this hempy sort of stuff that I thought would make a little thing over the top for her. I don't know, what do you think, guys? Does it need it? Is it not nice?
Let me zoom in a little because you're too far away from window to see anything really.
So if I made that as sort of the bit above the window, and this is kind of the window sill, or I could use that as the window sill. Yeah, I quite like that. What do you think, Mr. Fix-It?
Yep.
Yeah? Right, but basically overall what's going to happen is this. This is this stuff. I've used it in Edith with roses on, but this is the stuff that hasn't got the roses on. It's just got leaves on it. I got it from China before all the fuss started. And I want to have this growing up the side of her fairy house. See? See, I had given it some thought. So like one piece there and maybe another piece here. Right. So I'm just going to glue a line down there with my 3-in-1. Get in. There we go. So it started to fray at the end, so we'll ignore that bit and place this down into the glue. It's kind of got a bit of a mind of its own, this stuff. This is really inexpensive from AliExpress, and if you're prepared to wait a little bit, you know, there's always a waiting process whereby you think, oh, they've forgotten my order, I'm never going to see that money again, but it always turns up. And you know, like I say, apart from the earrings that I got the last order, I've never had anything that I wasn't happy with, ever. So there we are. I'll just slice that off at the top. I'm not going to cut it too close yet. I want to make sure that it's really glued properly. And then I'm going to do another one coming up here. Yeah. Oh, ugh. Glue all over me. And hair. So just up the side here, side of that acetate, and just back onto the card so it's got something good to stick onto. Let's bring it off the page to start it. Up to there. And give it a good splotch of glue there to stick it down. Stop it moving about on us. There we are. So you can see what I'm doing. You can see that there are infinite ways of playing with this. You know, with the doors, with the make her into a tag that goes in and out. As it is, this is a fairly static page now. But I like this technique. I've learnt quite a lot. And, you know, there's loads of ideas racing around in my head. So here's one of these tiny little roses that you can get. Once again, you know, I'll get them from Ali. Just take that, flatten the wire at the back. And you could add a little couple of those if you wanted to. Add them high up because otherwise, excuse me, they're going to get caught up in the folds of your journal, your page of your journal. Let's not forget this is one panel of one page. Sheesh, sheesh kebab. Right, I think I'm about done. I think I've probably bored you into submission for long enough. I'm just thinking that I've just stuck that on the acetate and now I won't be able to get a door in there, but that's fine. That's all right. I like the page as it is, and I might paint a big toadstool actually, or find an image of a toadstool and put it down there and put some more of this stuff around the place. But as it is, I think I'm done. Thank you so much for hanging on today. You've done sterling work. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you very much. So yeah, it's going to be just a bit more of the same, really. You know, just some of this. I'm just going to put small bits around in the centre, and then back up to maybe a tall but not whole page one there. So she's going to look pretty, I think, and she's going to be worth the effort that we put into her, which is the main thing. I wonder where I put that door that I cut out. There it is. So yeah, I mean, the opportunity's there to do something with that. Of course, now I've stuck that on there, which isn't like clever, really. It's not big and it's not clever. So we'll see anyway. We'll see. I will be here on Wednesday. I promise you I'll have something more exciting than watching me do something like this. Although I must say I like the finished product. You know, as finished as she is anyway. And like I said, there's loads of things that you can do. You can make the door a one door like that. You could cut it in half and make it like French windows. You could stick that on completely. You could have the fairy on a journal card coming out. You could do what Mr. Fixit did with the acetate and print a window frame on it. Loads that you could do. So there's your basis. If you've got a plank stamp, then you don't need any of the first hour and 20 minutes or whatever it was. But if you haven't, that's a nice way to build up wood, especially pink, a fairy pink. So I'll see you all, hopefully I'll see you on Wednesday at 2 o'clock. I've really enjoyed your company as ever. I hope you have a nice rest of your day, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you. Bye.